Once upon a time, in a cozy little corner of the world, lived a mother pig with her 3 little sons. They had grown so big and strong that their little house was getting a bit crowded. One sunny morning, their mother gathered them around and said, "My dear boys, it's time for you to go out into the world and build your own homes. But remember, whatever you do, do it the very best you can. That's the way to get along in the world." So the 3 little pigs packed their bags, waved goodbye to their mother, and set off on their grand adventure. They hadn't walked far down the road when they met a man carrying a bundle of straw. The first little pig, who was a bit lazy and wanted to finish his work quickly so he could play, thought this was a brilliant idea. "Please, sir," he said, "may I have some of that straw to build my house?" The man agreed, and the first little pig happily took the straw and built himself a house in no time at all. It wasn't very strong, but he didn't care. He was just excited to be done. The other 2 pigs waved goodbye and continued on their way. Soon they came across a man with a bundle of sticks. The second little pig, who was a little more thoughtful than his brother but still in a hurry, thought sticks looked much better than straw. "Excuse me," he said, "could I have some of those sticks to build my house?" The man kindly gave him the sticks. The second pig worked a bit harder than the first and built a house of sticks. It looked quite nice, and he was very proud of it. He finished just in time for an afternoon nap. Now, the third little pig was all alone, but he remembered his mother's words. "Whatever you do, do it the very best you can." He walked on and on until he met a man with a load of heavy red bricks. The pig's eyes lit up. This was it. "Sir, could I please have some of those bricks to build my house?" he asked politely. The man saw the determination in the little pig's eyes and gave him a big pile of bricks. Building a house of bricks was hard work. The third little pig had to mix mortar, lay each brick carefully, and make sure the walls were straight and strong. It took him a very long time. The sun was setting by the time he finally put the last brick on the chimney. He was tired, but he looked at his solid, sturdy house with immense pride. It was strong, safe, and built to last. He knew he had done his very best. Now, in the same woods lived a big, bad wolf. He had a rumbling tummy and a wicked gleam in his eye. He had been watching the 3 little pigs all day. He licked his lips and trotted over to the first house, the one made of straw. He knocked on the door. Little pig, let me come in," he called out in a sweet voice. The first little pig peeked through a crack and saw the wolf's big paws. "Not by the hair of my chin-a-chin-chin," he squeaked, his voice trembling. "Then I'll huff and I'll blow your house in," roared the wolf. And he huffed and he puffed, and with one mighty breath he blew the straw house all to pieces. The little pig squealed in terror and ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to his brother's house of sticks. He burst through the door, shouting, "The wolf is coming!" Just then they heard a knock. Little pigs, let me come in." The 2 pigs huddled together. "Not by the hair of our chinny-chin-chins." They cried out. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in." The wolf bellowed. He took a deep breath and huffed, and he puffed, and the house of sticks began to creak and sway. He huffed and he puffed again, and the whole house came tumbling down. The two terrified pigs scrambled from the wreckage and raced towards their brother's house of bricks. They banged on the door. "Let us in! Let us in! The big bad wolf is coming." The third little pig quickly opened the door, and his two brothers tumbled inside, slamming the heavy wooden door shut just as the wolf arrived, out of breath but very angry. He pounded on the brick door. little pigs, let me come in," he snarled. The three pigs, feeling much safer behind the strong walls, shouted back together, "Not by the hair of our chinny-chin-chins." The wolf was furious. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in." He roared. He huffed, and he puffed. Nothing happened. He huffed again, and he puffed with all his might, his face turning red. The brick house didn't even tremble. He tried again and again, huffing and puffing until he was completely out of breath, but the house stood as strong as a mountain. The wolf was exhausted and had to sit down to think. He couldn't blow the house down, so he had to be clever. He called out, "Little pig, I know where there is a nice field of turnips." The third pig, who was as clever as he was hard-working, replied, "Where?" "In Mr. Smith's field. If you'll be ready tomorrow morning, I will call for you, and we will go together." "Very well," said the pig. "What time?" "Oh, at 6 o'clock," said the wolf. But the clever pig got up at 5 o'clock, went to the field, gathered the turnips, and was home eating his breakfast when the wolf knocked at 6. "Little pig, are you ready?" he called. The pig laughed. "Ready? I've already been and come back again. I'm having a lovely turnip breakfast." The wolf was enraged but hid his anger. He tried again. "Little pig, I know where there is a lovely apple tree." "Where?" asked the pig. "Down at Merry Garden," replied the wolf. "I will come for you at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning." The next morning, the pig was up at 4, hoping to get the apples and be back before the wolf came, but the tree was farther away, and he had to climb it. Just as he was climbing down, he saw the wolf coming. The pig was frightened, but he thought fast. He threw an apple as far as he could. While the wolf was chasing the rolling apple, the pig jumped down and ran home. The wolf was getting desperate. He had one last idea. "Little pig," he said, "there is a fair in the village this afternoon. Shall we go?" "Oh yes," said the pig. "What time will you be ready?" "At 3, said the wolf. As you can guess, the pig went to the fair early. He had a wonderful time and even bought a big butter churn. As he was rolling it home, he saw the wolf coming up the hill. The pig quickly hid inside the churn and started rolling down the hill. The churn went faster and faster, clattering and bumping. The strange, noisy sight terrified the wolf. He turned and ran all the way home, convinced a monster was chasing him. Later, the wolf went back to the pig's house and told him about the scary thing he saw rolling down the hill. The little pig laughed and laughed. Ha! That was me. I was inside the butter churn I bought at the fair. This was the last straw for the wolf. He was absolutely furious and declared, "I'm going to climb down your chimney and get you." When the pig heard this, he knew just what to do. He put a big pot of water on the fire to boil. As the wolf was climbing onto the roof, the pig took the lid off the pot. The wolf slid down the chimney and a splash. He fell right into the pot of boiling water. The pig quickly put the lid back on, and that was the end of the big bad wolf. The first two little pigs learned a very important lesson that day. They saw that taking your time and doing your best work really does pay off. They moved in with their brother, and the three little pigs lived happily and safely ever after in the strong little house of bricks. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.